MakingStarWars.net.
Award for making. Hey, maybe I'm unmuted now. Hey, everybody, I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. Hey, YouTube. Hey, YouTube. Hey, YouTube. Hi, Mr. Farm Boy and Mike, who are in the chat. So it's a weird one. When we're all supposed to be at church, not on the internet, they released a Star Wars thing today, and it was a big deal. It's something that we've been waiting for. Yeah, do it. Tomas says, and you'll like it. You'll like it now. So like the video. Thank you to everybody for being a channel member, by the way, and supporting the show. YouTube has been a jerk. Like every time I do a video, it's like demonetized, and then I say, "Hey, that's not fair." Then they say, "Okay," 4 or 5 days later when nobody watches the video anymore. Oh, sounds like a grift to me. If you want to know the truth, but so the Ubisoft Star Wars game was announced, and it's called Outlaws. Let me use the Best Bin Bulletin article for this because he's my little buddy, so I gotta use his article. Or he'll be like, "Hey man, like, is everything cool between us?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, why?" And he's like, "You didn't use my article." I'm just kidding. He is the best Star Wars website that there ever was, if you ask my opinion. My favorite one of all time, that's for sure. So Ubisoft Star Wars video game revealed. The trailer for Star Wars released. The trailer for Star Wars released. It's missing Outlaws. But there we go. Right here, you can see the cover. We got a robot man. Queue up about 24 hours from now. That's Carbonite. Grogu's in there, and he's a clone. And it's fact. It's fact. Hey, how's it going, Rob?
I'm waiting for George to announce he's also buying back Ubisoft, LucasArts, and Lucasfilm, and Ubisoft, and all the licensing agreements. You know what I mean? He's buying them all out.
Oh
He's
yeah,
gonna make the games himself now. He's got Game Maker and Unity and Unreal 5.
Oh yeah, and in his state, he's just ready to hit the ground running and just keep on going, baby. Never look back. Just take the whole Hollywood gaming industry into the next era. Because
for the money.
He's gonna have his head frozen like Walt Disney and live forever, right? Because that's the world that we live in. Yeah,
Jason, I've been trying to manifest that for 41 years.
Yeah. And not to concentrate on the negative too much, more to laugh at it, but we already have the extreme left saying that she's super gay and that you're all homophobes, and then we already have the super right going, "Oh this game's gonna go woke and broke," and I'm just like, you're all insane. I don't know what's going on. I just saw a girl with a robot and like a space dog. Like, calm down.
I just wish they'd let you make your own character, Jason.
Yeah,
that's what I wish. Like that Street Fighter 6 where my buddy, he made a bunch of Na'vi and a Popeye.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's good for Street Fighter, but it's good for just in general.
Hey, if you're a frustrated Avatar fan who's tired of being told that there's no culture around your film, maybe you want to make a Na'vi and go beat up Blanca. I don't know. I'm not going to judge him.
We need that. We need that isolated. We need that clip isolated. I need that to be my ring phone. My phone ringtone, whatever. What do you call it?
Yeah, I don't know. Crazy
phone
frog
ring thing.
So basically, yeah, this is the art, and it's a pre-rendered trailer, so there's nothing to really get.
Yeah,
there's nothing to get. There's nothing to get like too excited about on that front because it doesn't really necessarily reflect what you're going to be buying. Other than maybe ideas.
Trailer, like, and I worked on this indie game that's coming out, right?
Indiana Jones. You worked on the Indiana Jones game that we haven't heard about in like a long time.
It's called Berserk Boy. And the previous publisher, they're no longer with, but the publisher wanted us to put out this trailer, man, that was all pre-rendered and like, I'm like, just show it's a game, man. Just show the gameplay. We don't got time for this. You know, people don't got time for pre-rendered trailers. You know, it's not 1997. Like ever since I love Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and all that stuff, but come on, guys, you know, just show us the game.
Yeah.
What's crazy is a lot of times, man, the gameplay looks better than the pre-renders. You know, like
Sometimes, yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I dislike it when it goes the other way, when you have the pre-rendered cutscenes in games and it's actually like worse than what you're playing. That's weird when that happens. I know that's happened. Yeah,
the game's at 4K, but the video's at 1080p.
Yeah, it's so weird when that happens. I hate it.
Well, the problem is, Jason, is loading. So sometimes they have to throw in a video to cover for loading, you know, but the videos are never rendered at the same, especially if you got like a 120 hertz monitor, right? Like it just doesn't work.
Yeah. So here's the information on the game for those of you who are learning about this for the first time or just want to hear about it again. So this is from bestmanbulletin.com. My half sister. Okay, so here's the thing. My half sister and George Costanza went into that fly machine that made the Brindle fly, and that's how we got bestmanbulletin.com. After years of anticipation, Ubisoft, Ubi Hard, get it, and Massive Entertainment have officially debuted a trailer for their long-awaited Star Wars game at the Xbox and Bethesda 2023 showcase, revealing a release window of 2024 along with the game's title, Star Wars Outlaws. So there's basically no fucking date about when it's coming. This thing might be December of 2024 for all we know. And if you remember back in the day, I'm sure he's going to mention it, but in his old articles, he said that game was supposed to be pushed. Like they were wanting more time for this game. So I
don't know how it can ship next year. Like I'm just going to be honest with you. Like,
yeah.
I mean, unless they're using ChatGPT to write all the quests, like it's a lot of content.
Give it time. Yeah. So anyways, before we continue with Outlaws news, I'd like to share that you can now support my work in two ways. For me, it's Patreon and by being a channel member. Being a channel member is the best way if you watch the YouTube show. But for Best and Bulletin, you could follow his Patreon or give him a coffee. So
I do. I follow. I give him
Patreon
money.
You did it.
$3 a month.
It's true.
Good old Bestman.
I'm gonna take the audio out on this bitch and just gonna like let the video play on the screen right here, you know, so we can like take like a look at it before we get to the article. But
you're home for Ubisoft games.
Yeah, I mean as the article is going to tell us, and you could figure out watching the trailer with context clues, which Bestman does for you. That you know this takes place when Han's in Carbonite is because the Han and Carbonite there, so it's in between Empire and Jedi, and we're gonna have this.
That looked like Mac and me. They were stabbing.
It looked like Kylo Ren killing Mac and me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see her playing Sabacc right there. Then right here we got Kit Fisto's weird kid. I guess somebody said in the chat.
It's Stitch.
It's Kit Fisto and Stitch made a baby.
Stitch and Hiccup. It's Stitch up.
Fisto and Stitch.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, like this is all stuff we've seen a lot in modern Star Wars at this point. So this isn't like making me freak out. But
oh my God, I've never seen this before. Oh my God. Oh, we're going to go.
I know. It's weird because she drops the detonator and then runs for like, when's that thing going to blow up? It blows up. Yeah. Did it ever blow up? Was that the
Shadows
explosion?
of the Empire confirmed.
I don't know.
They got a swoop. Shadows of the Empire confirmed. They got a swoop.
They got a swoop. Yeah, no, but I mean, it's an open world Star Wars game. It's playing with all of the quality designs that we have with the modern, I'd say that Rogue One Star Wars look that we've kind of seen built up after 2016. And I'm cool with that. It looks good. So the super battle droid guy is with her employer, or is that her buddy? So she's going into the vault in Fortnite. Oh, bullet time!
Quick time event confirmed. Quick time event confirmed.
Man, yeah, got your Rancor, which is like obligatory at this point. Not really a big deal, but at the same time, I know like there's certain baseline things that people want in Star Wars. But I've just been fighting those in another Star Wars game, like the last couple of weeks. So I'm a little bit like
picking
okay.
up Meg. I'm not picking on Meg, but I'm gonna pick on Meg for a second. I could just
Okay,
imagine
yeah.
with the pikes confirmed in the game, will this tie into Crimson Dawn? Right? You're like, no, Meg,
Is
not with the Crimson Dawn.
is this the first? Is this the first hint that Kira will return and go to Hogwarts?
God bless her. You know, like I got there's things I keep
Oops.
waiting for. You know, keep
Yeah.
hoping for to see. And if you're a fan of Crimson Dawn, man, you got it rough. That's all I can say.
Hey. I will say one of my favorite things in Solo, like my favorite line or my favorite moment, character moment in that in the Solo film is when he says he's an outlaw. I think that was maybe the most charming moment
I bet
for
you
the
John
actor.
Roca's got to be John Roca has to be super excited right now, right? The Outlaw,
Okay.
right? He's got to be like, "Hey, come on, Star Wars game."
I don't know what that means,
Yeah.
but okay, I'll go with it.
He's got all the Star Wars scoops, Jason. He should have known. There's a game named after him.
Oh, is that his name?
He calls himself the Outlaw. Yeah, it's his schmodown name.
He calls
Had you
himself
actually showed
the
up for your
Outlaw?
match, you would have known, Jason.
Oh, I got kicked out because
I know.
I told him to fuck off.
Well,
Yeah.
I could have been there rooting for you, but no, this is gonna have morals.
No, just like Star Wars Newsnet, that iteration of it fucked with me a lot. And then they were like, oh, make amends and tell them you're sorry. No, fuck off.
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
At that
Hey,
point.
at least we got a blue and orange poster cover, right?
Hey, but
Nice blue and
I
orange.
like that our comics binge buddy is doing stuff for them now. I think he's gonna make them a better organization personally. Okay, so
He's on
what?
Collider?
No,
Star
he's
Wars
on
Newsnet?
Star Wars News. He does the Star Wars Newsnet thing now, right? I think he does.
He's just waiting to stab us in the back, isn't he, Jason?
Yeah.
Old Paul's
No.
just getting real nice with us, and then he shanks us, right?
Hey. No, Paul's a good guy.
I know.
I will
Anakin was a
tell you
good
this.
kid, too. Remember how Anakin started out yippee and
I've known
that's a good trick.
known hundreds of people now that have been involved in Star Wars content creation over the years. One of the realest motherfuckers I know, and I don't say that lightly. Only 3 or 4 people I'd probably say that to. All right, so Outlaws takes place
Can I
during
stab you in the back? Sorry.
Oh, you will. Give it time.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. but you'll think it's a funny joke, and I'll be like, "That's not funny. That really hurts." Outlaw takes place during the original trilogy era, as we could see.
Woohoo! My favorite era.
And right here, this right here is the kind of thing where, like, most people are really smart, but you have to do a lot of hand holding when you write about Star Wars because people are dumb, young, or just complete idiots. I wasn't going to say full of cum. That was you. Yeah.
So the original trilogy era with the Empire and the Rebels is the least woke of the eras. Just so you know.
Okay, you promise? You promise, right? I mean,
I got bikinis.
You're fucking practically making out with sisters going on. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they make out with their own sister. Yeah.
They don't care. I mean, we got like a 45-year-old Han Solo dating like a 16-year-old Princess Leia. It's cool, man. It's all good.
Careful,
anyways.
you're gonna summon Filoni.
Hey, you know what? I want to give him some ideas for his new Mando movie. All right, Outlaws takes place during the original trilogy era, specifically between the events of Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars: Return of the Jedi, and
Shadows
focuses
of the Empire confirmed.
pretty much on an emerging scoundrel and her lead protagonist Kay Vess, voiced by Humberly Gonzalez. I like that name, Humberly. It's kind of a good. That is a good name. After weeks,
Humberly, like Umberto is not Humberto. It's Umberto.
That Humberly. I like both, but after weeks, like having like little kids on that other show, like, oh, I'm Cooper Dyson Davis and shit like that. I'm like Humberly Gonzalez or Humberly.
It's Tristan.
Yeah, I'm Tristan Skylar Yamanez. You're like, no, you're just pick a name.
Gen Xers created this middle name fucking thing that goes along with Bed Bath and Beyond sense,
That's why I gave my kids fucking rad names: Luke Danger and Penny Rebel. That's gonna fucking sound like little punks. That's what I like. I won't play into that shit. All right, so Kay Vess. If the game's not that great, our review is going to be okay. Get it? Okay. All right. Here we go. Voiced by Humberly Gonzalez. Umberly. I think you're right. I think it is Umberly probably because it's Gonzalez. Who's seeking freedom and the means to start a new life. Vess states that this time is regarded as dangerous due to the Empire being everywhere, but not where Vess operates. Those worlds are controlled by various crime syndicates. We see flashes of the Pike Syndicate seen in Star Wars: The Clone Wars and the Book of Boba Fett. Remember the Pike shit, you only don't like, it's only not great in Book of Boba Fett. It's good everywhere else. Like it was good in the Clone Wars, and it was good. Where else did we see it? We saw it. Clone Wars. It was good.
We'll see how they go.
Yeah, it was good. It was also good in Solo: A Star Wars Story, which I think should have probably been mentioned here too, because that one is very prominent in the Spice Mine. And that puppet. Oh yeah, and the puppet's so much better than what they did in Book of Boba Fett. The thing that makes me
in the background.
No, it's a fucking prominent role. It's like when they go to the Spice Mine of Kessel, it's like the owner of the mine. It's the one who Kira meets. And but when you compare that creature design to the ones that we got in Book of Boba Fett, that's the one that makes the Book of Boba Fett's take on it undeniably weak. Because we have a film
farm version of the Pikes.
Oh, that's being nice about it. That's being very nice. So anyways, along
Santa's
with Jabba
Pikes.
Yeah, so the Book of Boba Fett, along with Jabba the Hutt's crew, there's Gamorrean guards. Shit. We got Wheel Han Solo. The real Han Solo, not the woke Han Solo, who's frozen in carbonite into Jabba's palace.
See? He's asleep. The least woke trilogy, Jason.
Yeah.
Original trilogy.
Dude, I have a hard time with typos just like because I type really, really fast and I like to like get it all out. Like I kind of like pre-write in my mind and just fucking hit the ground running. But he's one of those guys who writes on his phone. He does his updates on his phone.
Typos matter to me on things you buy, politics and law. Everything else, I don't care.
Yeah. No, he's been updating this article like fucking constantly all morning. So that's why. We see Vess playing a game of Sabacc, cheating with the help of her four-legged companion, Nyx, voiced by D. Bradley Baker. That sounds
that guy.
There's a little bit of overkill maybe on getting D. Bradley Baker to do that. He's like, yeah, I can do like 6 clones all at the same time and a dog. Okay, cool, man. Inside of a cantina where we get glimpses of many recognizable species from the Star Wars universe, including Quarrens and Twi'leks, before bounty hunters arrive to disrupt Kay's good time, which causes a brawl and the schedules to flee. And we follow Vess on the run. We witness various.
On the run,
oh
right?
No! Don't wings it. It's too early.
Run.
We're not a Wings podcast. We pretend that Wings didn't happen. Fucking Johnny Rotten's comments on Wings they're totally wrong and mean, but they crack me up, by the way. Look them up. We witness various locations featured in the upcoming game before she's confronted by a mysterious man named Jalen and a commando droid on her ship who offer our hero a way out. So I'm wondering if the droid's gonna be like put with her to be like her companion, but is also like, you know, like when the mob guys had the mob guy with you, like are we gonna have like a or maybe like a 48 hours dynamics without the racism?
Oh, I love 48 hours
without the racism.
No, but with the racism, yeah, that's what makes
it's just like
good, right?
A really racist. You know what Star Wars needs? Star Wars needs a racist robot. You know what I mean? Like,
look, no, we already have Nick Nolte. He could be a racist Ugnaught. Right?
The racist Ugnaught, yeah.
Yeah, we find out that I have spoken means a whole other thing when he's around minorities, you know.
Man, 48 hours, that's one that one is just like, it's not really, I don't know if it's salvageable. It's so racist. Anyways, and at the end of it, he's like, hey, sorry for calling you the N-word. And you're just like, what? Are you fucking serious?
We learned a moral. That's an arc.
Yeah, I guess he really
checks.
He really grew, and now here we are in 2023.
You know,
all right.
And yet, the Buzz Lightyear guy never learned a lesson, right? You know that guy. What was that? Tim Allen. You know, Tim Allen loved 48 hours. You know he had to.
Tim Allen.
You know he had to, statistically speaking.
he made a career off of the stupidest fucking thing in the world. That dumb noise he makes.
Grunting.
I would just love just to fucking sock him in the face. Like, I'd love for him to do it and just to fucking punch him right in his eye. All right. Though unconfirmed,
I was an Al fan.
Yeah, you were an Al fan?
Yeah,
all right.
Al fan.
I was a JTT fan. Had all of the magazine covers and everything plastered all over my wall, and put his name in blood. JTT. All right.
Did you ever see In Living Color where he played Macaulay Culkin in like a home?
Oh yeah.
When Michael Jackson was trying to get into his house.
Yeah, I remember that.
So good.
I didn't know that was him though. I remember that sketch. But I guess that was before the show. So
that's him. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. All right. Though unconfirmed, it seems Jalen's offer is for Kay to take part in a heist, as we see her approaching and entering a vault. We see flashes of Vest taking out thugs on speeder bikes, jumping to light speed in more locations featured in Outlaws, as Kay declares that the underworld shows no mercy, but ends the trailer on a hopeful note, stating that there is a big galaxy out there and she looks to set off on her exciting adventure.
Man, I want to go on an exciting adventure, Jason.
You can do it, man.
I'm so glad they covered that.
You could be an outlaw. Ubisoft has revealed that Outlaws will feature iconic locations from the Star Wars universe, as well as new, exciting, original locations designed by Massive Entertainment and Lucasfilm Games. Even though the game debuted at the Xbox showcase, it is not an Xbox exclusive. You want it to be Xbox exclusive?
Huh?
It's not.
I got all the systems, so I just like it when my friends who don't have the other system complain. So I like that. Yeah. Like that.
And will be available on PlayStation 5 as well. And then Xbox and PC. Ubisoft will be debuting gameplay footage for Outlaws tomorrow during Ubisoft's own showcase. Ubisoft's forward takes place at 6 p.m. BST. What the fuck is BST? I don't even know what that is. Bespin time? Is that Bespin Standard Time?
It's Bespin Standard Time.
I don't know what the fuck.
4.
Yeah, what time is that? Wells? I think we're like 8 hours ahead of Wells, or something like. Or they're 8 hours ahead of us.
Yeah.
So
if it was as a true time, the shit would start on time. But Bespin, who knows?
Yeah.
Ish.
Well,
6-ish.
What's good is I haven't spoken to him since he was on our show last, but hopefully we could get Acid True on like this weekend.
He's excited, dude.
He'll know everything.
The robots or whatever made a lot of money this weekend. I made a lot of money.
What Transformers did?
Yeah,
Are you being facetious?
Yeah.
Did it fail?
No, it made $60 million.
Yeah.
What?
That's too bad. I would say yesterday.
It's gonna save the franchise.
Well, like they're supposed to put like I think Bespin was telling me that the next Spider-Verse movie is supposed to come out like in March of 2024. And I'm like, I think they should
count on that.
No, I think they should put that shit in June now, considering how well it's done in the summer time this time. If it beats Transformers, that's a summer movie now. Accept it.
It actually beat locally, right? In the States, it beat Transformers Saturday and Sunday. So I actually looked at the days. So it lost by 5 million to robots, but it beat it. So my guess is we all saw it Thursday and Friday, like you and I did, and we're like, don't go see that.
Yeah.
It's not. You can take your kids. Well, they're fine.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie for like kids. I do like, though, I will say, I like where like the tone is going. Like it's moved away from the Michael Bay shit, like in a big way.
National Treasure tone, but you probably should just hire the National Treasure people, because Joe B. Harold ain't it. And stop making Optimus Prime an asshole.
Yeah. Well,
and stop seeing that because G.I. Joe gives us free healthcare, that's the price to win at the end of the movie. It just angers Rob.
Yeah. Well, once again, it is presenting the idea you must put yourself in harm's way and death, or if you're poor, you can't get ahead. I know that's what it is. I mean, it's great that people are able to like do it, and who do join the military, but it's not like for the greatest country in the world. It's not really the best either or, is it?
No.
In an article I shared last month, which noted that Ubisoft's
Hold on.
were
But G.I. Joe doesn't cover dental, so his teeth are fucked. Just so you know.
oh, that's my excuse. We're hoping to release because I am in GI Joe. My name is I'm fat ass. That's my GI Joe name.
Oh, no.
Fat ass.
No, Jason.
All right, fat ass, get out there.
He calls it like it is, huh, Jason? Right? No.
Hey, Dusty. He was Dusty. I mean,
You remember those Transformer cartoons at the early part of the YouTube where they were doing like dubs? And like one of them, Prime, he's naming all the new Autobots from the movie, and he calls them, "You're a piece of shit, so you're a shit piece." Like,
shit piece.
Yeah, you ever seen that one? It's so good. Oh, Jason, funny, I gotta find it. It holds up. It holds up.
Right. Yeah. All right. So Star Wars. Okay. So he says that Ubisoft are hoping to release their Star Wars title within the fiscal year, which runs up until the end of March of 2024. I speculated that Ubisoft would likely debut a trailer this year, despite reports of a 2024 release. Seemed very unlikely from those connected with the project and would likely need an additional year in development.
Yeah.
I'd recently heard rumblings that my suspicions were true and that we get to see a trailer for Outlaws very soon, with my suspicion being Ubisoft Forward, which will reportedly feature gameplay.
Jason.
Yeah.
What are the odds that the new worlds created by Massive is just cut content from the Avatar game that they threw into the Star Wars game?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, I think they're gonna be very similar, right? Star Wars Outlaws is being developed by Massive Entertainment, that the developers behind Tom Clancy's The Division franchise and the upcoming Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, a video game based on the extremely successful franchise created by James Cameron. Both Pandora and Outlaws are expected to be released before April of next year. So pretty good news for you.
2 open world games in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's like 500 hours of gameplay, right?
I know. You better get on that Zelda, man. I'm just gonna let you know right now. You better get on it.
I spent 2 hours last night. Couldn't get off that island. Like I'm still there.
Yeah.
I got the powers, but I'm like just trying to get back, and it just wants to take the long way around. Just wants to take the long way around, man.
I not to get too sidetracked with it, but I've been playing it a lot. Like that's been like the game I've been playing the most. The new Fortnite summer update, it's not that great. We're not that into it, and so far, anyways. And but it's in Zelda, like you just kind of like just pick a thread and then just start pulling on that thread, and just like play that through after you get off the island. Like I was not into the game when I was on the island. It wasn't until I got off the island that the game was like, okay, now I'm in a Zelda game, and I'm like, I got that. That Zelda feeling. The Zelda feeling doesn't come until you get off the Sky Island. Yeah,
I do prefer Tiny Link. I'm a little Link guy.
Yeah,
I don't like human grown Link. I like little 3 heads high Link. I wish he'd just let me buy a skin. I'd pay $50 for it right at this point, Jason.
There's a mask that people are playing the game with that has the kid Link.
I want the height. I want.
I know.
The mask.
Yeah.
I want the little Link.
Well, Rob.
That guy.
You know what, Rob? No, I'm with you. I think children see it the other way, which is funny, but I think that they do.
Well,
I think
the funny thing about games is every other game has a million fucking skins you can choose from, but not Nintendo games. They're like choice. No, they're still working on internet connections on the Switch. Maybe your friends might be able to link up with a 60 digit long chain code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maria says, "Hey Maria, I may be wrong, not part of this one, but I am not convinced that we're getting a PS5 day one release. It may be an Xbox and PC exclusive for a few months, and then they'll release PS5." Yeah, I have no idea what to think about any of that. To be honest with you, like I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even know until they're closer to release, as like how ready is it and that kind of jazz. But it was kind of weird that if they played that they unveiled it at the Xbox thing, and if it was sort of exclusive for 3 or 4 months, for instance, or a quarter or whatever, that Xbox wouldn't want to like share that, but it is what it is, and Maria says, yeah, so it was shown during the Xbox showcase, and Massive is partly owned by Activision, which is now owned by Microsoft, so it makes sense for me. Yeah, that does seem like it would definitely track on that front, unless they're in some way, because like getting that, like the mergers that they've been trying to do in the last years and stuff like that has been a little bit dicey. May not want to rock the boat, but I guess they've already got it right. They've already all merged into one giant corporate Voltron of industry machine. So I guess it probably doesn't matter anyways. But yeah, I'm an Xbox. I got the Xbox X, and I love it. I don't have a PlayStation, so I'm good. I think either way on this one, thankfully. But I don't really like. I don't really know. I don't really know if they would hold the game back from PlayStation with exclusivity without announcing it. But we'll see. I think in the coming days we'll know a lot more when that event happens tomorrow. And tomorrow I'll come back on. Obviously, we'll do the show and we'll cover the event with the gameplay and stuff. Because like right now it's just like a concept. And when you really get down to it, you kind of see what the designs are going for, and we kind of see what era it takes place. And okay, that's all fun. You know what I mean? That's cool. I'm on board. I'll buy it. And hey, thank you for the super chat, Jonathan. Says the game is on PlayStation. Yeah. The game is definitely coming out on PlayStation. Like it says in the Bestman article, it's coming out on PlayStation and Xbox.
Nope. I'm canceling it. I took it away from you. You don't get it. You don't get it on PlayStation.
You don't have that power.
Sorry. What?
You don't have that power.
I can manifest it though. Pretty good. That's true. Pretty good at manifesting.
That's true. That has been a thing as of late.
yeah. So I say no. You don't get it.
Oh, sad.
PlayStation 4 though. How about that?
Yeah, I do want to play that Spider-Man game one of these days. Like it does look like a game I would enjoy playing, and that's one of the reasons that I would like to get a PlayStation. Also,
PS5, right?
No, I used to have I had like one of the last ones, and I had this fucking tower defense game, and I can't remember what it was called right now, but it was like from like the little arcade PlayStation store, and I missed that game. It was like really chill, like little dudes, and they kind of went through. And I'm wondering if I could still play it, because if I could still play it, that's definitely incentive, because I missed the game. I missed that kind of tower defense game. Which, by the way, Zelda does a tower defense mission mode at one point, and it doesn't. It's not a big no. It's just like it's a fun feature. You're telling you're dictating a battle. You're like, put guards here, put cannons here, and you're like doing, and then like the waves come and stuff, and it was done well. It was like it's just a little mission. It's not important, or it's like a story thing, but it was good. I was like, oh, that was fun, But anyways, Knights of the Old Republic. I'm not holding my breath on that one. I just like it's so far. I hope I'm wrong. Like I hope it comes out, but it's so far in the hole right now. Like it's going to hit a point where it can't be profitable. And I think as the closer that approaches, the more likely they are just to throw their hands up and walk away from it. And hopefully that doesn't happen. And I'm not a video game industry expert at all. I know stuff. I play games, but it's not like my passion. I don't know anything about box office, but I know more about box office than I know about video games, about the video game industry. Even though I've been to like E3 and all that shit like hundreds of times, or a bunch of times, 5 or 6 times, but like I'm not like really obsessed with the industry. So everything is kind of like, oh, that's what it sounds like to me, just kind of like how I roll with it.
Who's good at it is the guy who's directing the new Final Fantasy 16. He directed Final Fantasy 14. He's the one who came on board and they scrapped the whole game and rebuilt it. Right? He's that guy. Like apparently it's a big deal now. But he was talking about Final Fantasy 16, and he was getting into like, they were like, what about sales? And he's like, yeah, I wrote a whole plan about how like, we're going to hit a good point like 18 months after launch, not at launch, like he wrote this whole thing. Like that guy gets the long-term sales plan, like how to budget, get shit done, get stuff out, have it look good, be reasonable, pretty good. But a lot of these other cats, especially when they're like outside investors, like the Endeavor Group or all these other fuckers, they get on board and they just think they're going to be able to put in some little VC and get paid quickly, and it's like, Doesn't work that way.
So Bespin messaged me, let me know that they are saying that it will be out on PlayStation and Xbox on the same day, according to them. So according to them, if they, and what their plan is now, we could speculate on if it goes that way in the big picture. But yeah, like I don't have any sources on the Knights of the Old Republic game to be like upfront and clear. Like I don't have any. I haven't tried to get in on that or whatever, but I just have heard things like in passing, and I think I heard that they spent. I don't know. I think Bespin might have said this to me. So let's just say I'm just going to say Bespin said this to me. I don't know if he did. I think he did though. That they spent like $100 million like on a demo for the Old Republic just to get the fucking demo.
Yeah,
and that was him, right? Yeah, it was Bespin Bulletin.
I spit up my drink and I just did it again. Like
yeah. So it's like, and I'm like, how much does one of these games make? And I think it was him because I think he told me
MMO money, Jason. You got to understand how crazy that is. That's MMO cash. Like you got to have like a $500 million to be able to lose to make an MMO, and to throw $100 million down for a demo, that's MMO stuff, dude.
That's I mean, when you're building like a fucking platform that might last 10 years and might bring in, expansions and stuff like that. Yeah, cool. But for a remake of Knights of the Old Republic, you fucking you guys fucking, what are you guys doing? You guys using that money for OnlyFans and having jerk off sessions before work what's going on? That's crazy.
I can only hope they stole the money from one of them Paul brothers, Logan Paul, Jake Pauls. You know what I mean? He's got to hawk a Pokemon card to get out of it or something.
Maybe they were betting on him getting beat up in the fight because it's what they wanted to happen as opposed to what happens. So Malsik, I think, makes an excellent point. Honestly, Jason, is there any reason to hold your breath for this one? I just watched the trailer and it looks cool, but my first thought was, but will this actually happen? And 100% something that you always have to be like, until we know a game is in the final stretch, who knows with the track record. Oh yeah. Of the last 10 years of Star Wars video games.
Also, not for nothing, I don't know about you, but Ubisoft's open world games as of late have not exactly been the greatest. It's 50-50. A lot of them are needlessly tedious, but
Bespin says KOTOR remake isn't with Aspire, but it's swapped to a studio under the same publisher, which is Embracer Group. Nothing has changed in terms of its platform releases, etc. So I would imagine that PlayStation gave them a nice little chunk of change for development for the exclusivity, right? Most likely, too. Yeah. So but
12 months.
In that new book, Burn It Down, that really gets into the grosser side of Hollywood, the unfair side, and
I like that
stuff. Oh yeah,
to read about, not to experience.
Sure. Yeah. No, in it kind of talks about Lucasfilm itself, about how just not really budget conscious they are. They're just we're good. They don't worry about it. And but it's we keep seeing. Yeah. So I don't know to what extent Lucasfilm has any play in the game side of things. If that does that trickle into the game side of shit at all?
Well, not anymore. They don't fund anything. They license games.
I know that, but they also have a lot of excuse me, a lot of control over approving things and
licensing
stuff
approval.
Like that.
They got that over everything though, but they don't put any money into it. That's why they dissolved LucasArts, because they didn't want to put any money. Disney. That's the one thing Disney corporate goes, we don't put money into games.
But then now they've gone and they've made Lucasfilm Games, who goes and does exactly that. So it's I don't know what the parameters of it are. So it's more of an open question, hoping that somebody a source or somebody who actually knows the answer will inform me one time. Mm-hmm. Okay. Bespin is clearing it up. They didn't spend $100 million on a demo. They spent $100 million up until around the time a demo was shown. Okay.
Right. So which he said, if they don't complete the game, they essentially made a demo. So
at the end of the day, it is.
What he was saying.
but what he just said right here is what he said. They didn't spend 100 million on a demo. They spent 100 million up until around the time the demo was shown. So fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no one way to make a game. Usually in AAA development, they do vertical slice, right? That's sort of the proof of concept. Generally, you don't spend $100 million making vertical slice.
Mm-hmm.
The way that company worked out was they were like overseeing. They were an overseer company that was managing 3 or 4 different vendors. I imagine they were just breaking stuff up and moving forward without ever doing vertical slice because they already had the game, right? But somewhere along the way, someone was probably like, "We need to play this thing. We need to know like if you're doing because maybe they made changes or maybe I don't know. Like someone at some point was like, "What are you doing?" And so the demos then cobbled together to make it playable, right? They built a playable build of whatever they were doing, and that is what probably dictated the leadership change.
Yeah. My whole thing. My whole thing is like with the Knights of the Old Republic game. I was in on it. I was in like you guys got me. I'm gonna get a PlayStation to play this game when I thought it was going to be up design, which I think they were doing, but into canon, into the sense that like this is going to be the definitive version of Knights of the Old Republic that we are saying this shit matters in our grander storytelling. And then they're like, no, we're not doing it like that. And I'm just like, but why not? And it's clear. I know why. They just want to keep Revan on the table to make that movie because it's another one of the in case of no ideas and in case of just needing the crowd please break glass and say you're making Knights of the Old Republic the movie with Revan, and then everything would get thrown out again. So that's why they're not doing it. It's just keeping that in the back burner. No one's told me that, but you'd have a hard time convincing me that's not what that was. And as the truth says, Lucasfilm loved the KOTOR demo, but Sony hated it, and Sony are funding not cinematic enough, apparently. So, all right. Yeah. So that's point is I'm not holding my breath on KOTOR, but on this one right here, I think this one will come out. I think it will just either be good because it got what it needed, and if it doesn't, it'll just be bad. And that will just be what it is. But I do think it's more likely it'll happen.
70%er, right? Like at least a 70%er. Like it's a game, it's cool. You get to open world, you got stuff, but maybe they'll they got their feet wet and they'll really nail it the second time or something. I just with open world games, I just think at this point, very few of them are creating lead characters that are like iconic to me. Like a lot of the games you're playing now aren't new. They're the same games you've been playing forever and ever. God of Wars, Assassin's Creed, blah, 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 blah. This lead character is sort of just a generic template character. So why not just let me make a generic template character anyway? You can make her the base player. That's fine. If you don't want to, you just want to play the build.
Oh, base players suck.
Huh? Yeah.
Base players.
Squirrel suits. Oh, bass. Music. I never think the way you think.
Yeah. And NPC says Best Ventura. It's Jason's fault once again. I apologize. Hey, you know what? Also, Bestman Bulletin said he said that they're making KOTOR 3, 4, and 5, and it's going to come out exclusively on whatever system you don't have.
Ouya.
That's also what he said. That's also what he said.
It's going to Ouya. Lucas bought Ouya, and it's going to Ouya. So he just liked the name. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably like on this style of game too, like because it has like promise, right? In the sense that it's an open world Star Wars game. It's what we've wanted for a long time, so it should be a good seller in the sense if it seems that it's going to be a solid game, but it doesn't really so far it hasn't promised us anything. Like it's not promising us like 200 hours of storied content or anything at all. So for all we know, you walk around in the open world and you're just like doing repeat missions constantly to go out and shoot womp rats and come back and give the carcasses to the guy at the cantina and get like 5 credits. It might just be like at the end of the day, I think it'll just be a shit game like that if it doesn't come together. But
like the first several hours of Star Wars Galaxies, where you gotta like catch rats to get out of a cage and shit. Right? Remember that?
Yeah. No, that was. Yeah, no, that was the like big problem with Star Wars Galaxies, was that it never really got its story together coherently and like in a big like meaningful way. And but it, what it did do in terms of like letting the players run the open world and make player run towns and stuff like that, it did things in that game that nobody has done since, and it did it pretty good. And I'm like, and it's kind of sad that one sort of oversight there fucked everything up. Like player run towns and MMOs is the greatest idea. It makes the most sense. And like there were people who were playing that like aggressively and having a great time. And but you just you didn't see it. And then we had the World of Warcraft thing that came in that just made it where, not to sound like the old boomer, but World of Warcraft was everybody gets a trophy. It was like that version of an MMO, and it just killed all of them.
I heard someone say everyone gets a trophy. That AI generated content is everyone gets a trophy for people, right? Oh, look, you get to make a piece of art now. You get to make a movie script, and you get to make a piece of art, and you get to make a movie script, right? Everyone can do it. Yay! Yeah.
I wanted to mess around with that one that you use, but you have to use fucking what do you call it? Like a chat fucking program to do it, right? You got to like the one that what's the one that you use for AI art? The AI art shit you were fucking around with.
Oh, Midjourney.
Yeah, you can't just use Midjourney. You have to like fucking use like a chat program and shit, right? It's like all fucking stupid, right? Am I crazy?
It's based around words. It's the whole concept.
What do you use?
Stable diffusion.
Is it Discord? Was it Discord?
I don't use anything anymore, but when I messed around with it, you had to go through Discord to use Midjourney. Yeah,
like that. That's just crazy to me. I ain't got time for that. I was like, fuck it. I ain't messing with it.
You have a Discord channel.
I know, but I don't want to do it. No, I was on my phone. Kids were at the park. I'm on the phone. Fucking my Apple phone from the future, state of the art, clicks on the thing to join it, and it takes me to download the app. And I already got the app instead of opening up the app. And it's just a really fucking frustrating thing that happens on the iPhone. And there's like, no, I don't think there's anything you can really do about it. So I never messed around with it, but I wanted to, just to make some
you gotta know how they're ripping you off, Jason. You gotta go in there, figure out how it works. Then when some people try to tell you, no, it's not how it is. Nah, I know how you're ripping me off. I used that, figured it out. Yeah.
Right. I like the part of it where it's fine is like I'm never gonna go pay an artist, for instance, to go in and draw me a picture of Rick McCallum eating pizza. Like I'm not gonna do it, but I'll do it for a fucking.
I charge too much.
You charge too much, but but I mean, people trying to use it commercially, that's like, nah, that sucks. Sure. Bestman Bulletin says the issue with the Ubisoft game is that they're desperate for it to be out by April 2024 because of their worst fiscal year. They might rush it. If not, it'll be delayed like Avatar was.
Yeah, there's no way this game comes out next year and it wasn't rushed. Just letting you know.
Okay. Yeah. If it comes out and it's shorter, cheaper, and it has expansions or something that content that you get along the way I'm cool with something like that.
Or if it's just filled with insert generic quest stuff. You know what I mean? Like just a lot of generic quest stuff.
But once again, we don't.
Fans are incorrigible, Jason. They want to live on Coruscant. They want this dream of like a virtual Star Wars world they can go into, and you're not gonna. That ain't no game. No game. That ain't, no one's making that. So,
yeah. It's no. I mean, well, they did in Star Wars Galaxies, and nobody knew what to do. The larger community of gamers didn't know what to do when they weren't told what to do. That was like the problem. And Maria says, reminds me of Factions and Ultima Online. Remember those? Yeah, that was fun. That was a good time.
Nerds.
And that was a big problem with Galaxies back in the day, Rob, was I was like in the beta for it. I started like in early beta 2. and then I went all the way up until like release with that, and there were supposed to be battlegrounds, and by the time they put them in, they just like threw them in unfinished and just crap. But the idea was that it, like all of this, you were supposed to have these like player run towns, and then it would lead to these like contested areas, and then the battlegrounds you would go to fight to regain territories and stuff. And that's what would have made it a galactic civil war. And they never got that part done. So, and that's, in my opinion, what totally broke Star Wars Galaxies, you know, made it just not come together. I do love it though. Xbox Bestman Bolton says Xbox had a great showcase though. They needed it after a disappointing few years with the Series X in terms of game output. 2024 looks promising. Yeah, I liked Sea of Thieves and Monkey Island doing something together. I text Rob and I'm like, hey, I'm probably not going to play this, but I'm glad to see, you know, the Monkey Island stuff like doing something and ending up somewhere. I wish they had
gotten, you know, I mean, it's impossible. I mean, what's his face? The creator, the two guys. I'm brain farty now.
The guys who made it. I can't remember their names right now either.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because you can tell the writing isn't that right, but it's still fun. Yeah, kind of a no-brainer.
Jumbo says, Jason, what's the AI generator for music which you could have other artists cover other band songs that you've mentioned? Oh, what was that? Do I still have that? Okay, so the one that I was messing around with, like, it was called Voiceify. And that was the one that had like a bunch of like rappers and stuff, like, you know, like the Weekend and stuff like that you can mess with. And it was pretty easy. But unlike the visual arts where it just stills everything and puts it back together and says, here's your new piece, with like the music stuff, you have to like go in there and like you have to like sing it. Like you gotta like actually do the performance, and then it like puts it on top of what you did. Excuse me. So like music, people are acting like it's just like beep boop bop bop bop, and then the music is there. The AI with music isn't really like that easy at the moment. Like if you sing out of key or out of tune, it will be out of key and out of tune. Like you really need to like offer like that performance. And then there's like another AI thing for music that people use that I can't remember what it's called. But that's one where you actually like have to like get the program. You got to like actually get all of the sound files and you have to like make the profiles. Like they don't give them to you. So you got to like go in there and put like all the Kurt Cobain stuff that you got, and then it will do its best. And you know, but that's a good one. That's the one that you're probably hearing on TikTok videos where they're like, you know, where they're making new music and stuff. But there's a couple like Karma Police by Radiohead with Kurt Cobain doing it. You could get it on YouTube, and that shit is pretty fucking on. Like usually it's not. I'm like, that one's almost passable. I'd say it's about 95% passable. I actually enjoy that one, surprisingly. I feel a little weird about it, but it's good. NBC says, good Xbox showcase, but they need to make a battle royale of some sort to keep people entertained for hours. Yeah, that's where my mind was going to, and that's why I thought of that Star Wars Galaxies Battlegrounds thing that was supposed to pop up that like never really came to fruition in any meaningful way. Is in this kind of thing, you still need that kind of angle, you know, to keep people in, and like that's why GTA open world, but why does GTA like exist today? Why is it still thriving and making all that money? Because of the online, you know, component. And
yeah, I fucking hate it.
Oh, it's so good.
We would have had GTA 6 by now.
Yeah, but you know,
stupid multiplayer.
I would love to
fund the next game. They deny another game in lieu of just letting that go.
Jason. Okay,
but that don't learn the lesson.
Rob,
you know?
Rob, but that's not the online component's fault. That's the management at Rockstar. But that's just the reality. Yeah, but I mean, it's like the online component of it, of being able to go and race like competitively in those games, and like, you know what I mean, and get stuff like it's all good. You know, like heists. Bank robbing? No, I mean, see, there's actually like a GTA 6 worth of content in that thing. You get into like the bank robberies
Yeah,
and
but you got
stuff
to
that you
play
can
with
do.
people, right? And I hate people, so
You do have to play with people, but that's why you
no,
just play with the
not
people
doing it.
that you don't hate, Rob. That
No,
is the
that
key.
would be nobody.
What? Me and Best hate
Hate
me and
them
Bestman?
all.
Me and
Huh?
Bestman could rob some banks in that game. I'm
Uh,
telling you.
uh, Last time
Mhm.
we went down this path, Bestman cried. I don't want to do that again, Jason. Let's
Only
not
thing I know is last time we were down
let's
this path, you were paying for some Patreon, so I think it's worth it.
not, I pay the Patreon so I don't have to play games with
But
I get out of it.
no, I in GTA, like I did the bank robbery stuff with my kids. It was fun. It was like actually like a pretty good time, and it like took like coordination and stuff like that. But without that kind of like element to it, it is a game that comes out and maybe gets good ratings, maybe doesn't, but just kind of falls off pretty quickly. And it's kind of like it's kind of amazing though how like Rockstar has the model right there, and like nobody seems to be able to emulate it for some reason. I don't know why that is, but like I don't think Rockstar's ever going to make a Star Wars game. I wish that would happen, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. And I just don't know why, no one copies that to that extent. Like Red Dead Redemption is probably a better model for most Star Wars games, I think. Like in terms of like the that single player story kind of adventure. And
I want Rockstar to make the open world Simpsons game I've always wanted. Because Simpsons Hit and Run is like the best Simpsons games ever made, and that's basically them trying to do a Rockstar game broken into zones. So I think
yeah.
if Rockstar just actually made it, it would be great. But whatever.
Real Ben Maynard says, "Just give me a Star Wars Galaxies on next gen Xbox, and I'm good to go." Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like there's people right now that are crying about like this game. I saw Azatru tweet and Bespin talking about it on Twitter, and they're like saying like, oh, it's only on the next gen console, and it's like that next gen console is the current gen now. We're like 2 years or something into it. Like if you're still
Series S is basically last gen with a next gen like logo. So but yeah. Guys, we're 3-4 years in. I prefer the day when they just cut off the other systems day one. And you're just you gotta move over or die. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to hear from people because every year they buy a new phone for $600 something fucking dollars. So I'm just every 8 years getting a new consoles like the lead. Or how about this? They buy a new graphics card for like $3,000 every couple years. Like it's just ridiculous,
Well, and that's kind of where my mind is at on that one though too. Is like let's not even look at it that way. Star Wars Jedi Survivor has already come out, so you're already going into 2024, and like next year, and there's already Star Wars games that are operating that way. Why would you expect this one to all of a sudden travel back in time for you? Like But I do have sympathy.
They want it to look brilliant, but they want it to be on last gen systems. You figured out one out.
Yeah,
we want to have ray tracing. We want it to look brand new. We want it to look all great, but it needs to work on this. Guys, it's old ass hardware. It's done.
Well, and yeah, times are tough, and like so, and I have empathy for the people that are like, I can't afford to go get that system right now. It sucks. I can't play the new Star Wars game, and that does suck. But eventually you'll get that thing and you'll be able to play the game. So. Maria says the problem with games today is that effing PC ports. The bugs, crashes with that are insane and often give games a bad name.
Yeah, they outsource those, and those companies do just enough to get it through certification, and that's about it. So.
My Jedi Survivor experience was honestly not bad. The most frustrating thing was that for like the first 3 or 4 days, I couldn't stream the game because it was like turned off and they didn't turn it on for some reason. And you know what I mean? Like they didn't want it like out before the game was out. They like the story and stuff or something. And I couldn't do it. It was like some kind of like oversight, but really that affected me trying to like play the game with our friends here just so they can see it, And it's like not really that big of a deal. But yeah, I'm not into the. I'm not really not into the like. I really wish I had a good PC, especially for PC VR stuff. but I don't really like dealing with PC stuff and games and shit. Like, I just think about going back in there and having to wonder if
I
my 3D card's holding up and having to get like fucking stuff like that. Like, I'm just too lazy
yeah.
for it at the moment.
I set up a gaming PC so that I could do N64 emulation pretty well now that RetroArch has it figured out. So I could turn off all the filtering on the 64 games so they look actually like good 32-bit games. They're not all
Hmm.
that smudgy, blurry shit, and I could
Hmm.
play them at 60 frames per second. So like, and then I'm happy. Like I'm good. I go in there, I play my Wave Race, my Star Fox 64. I throw on some Top Gear Rally. I throw in some Battle for Naboo. I actually do play that,
Yeah,
you know, and it works and it looks
yeah,
good, and then that's it. Yeah.
yeah. Did you ever get on my Nintendo Family Plan by any chance? I'll send you that
Oh, I
thing
gotta
again.
get back on. You sent it to the wrong email. I gotta give you the email that I
Okay,
actually
tell me
use.
which one to send it
Yeah,
to. But
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because there's
I got an email that isn't tied to anything public that I tie on my Nintendo account, so I'll have to send that to you.
right. So don't send it to doodlerob@gmail.com. Got it.
Yeah.
Maria says, like the conversation in the industry right now is, could we just release games on consoles only to be able to bypass all these issues?
But which
Um,
console? Because the Switch is not the same as the Xbox Series S. Matter of fact, Series X and Series S can't get their act together. So like, there's a whole problem now with Baldur's Gate, with the new Baldur's Gate game, where they had to remove a whole feature simply because it's not playable. The co-op, I think it was, is not playable on S. You know,
yeah,
so it's like the lower systems then dictate the higher end systems. So
yeah.
it's like that's not gamers.
Nin- Nintendo's like,
I just think there should be I just think there should be a tiered rate. So new system PS5 Series X, that's day one release, comparable platforms. And then 6 months down the way, you got a Series X release, maybe a Switch port 12 months out, and 18 months out, you got the PC port. That's it. Because PC people are always going to get that shit at like a 40 to 60% discount on a Steam sale anyway. You know, so you're not going for day one like whale buyers and shit. And
that's
they're going to
that's
mod
the
the.
that's the PC principle.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, that's the problem is a simultaneous console release. I've been a part of 4 of them at this point, and
Yeah.
I find it to, it's madness. There's no
Hmm.
reason for it.
Right. Bestman says it's always casual gamers that complain about the console jump. It's the people who are just wanting to play the new Star Wars game but don't want to invest in a new console. Yeah, and that's kind of, if they catered to that, like imagine the world where they did cater to that. Then the argument becomes, why do we have to play Star Wars games that always look like they're made for the Switch? Why, basically what everybody's saying about the current Zelda, which is, and I think is completely legit. Like the current Zelda, I'm loving the game. Like truly, probably maybe in the top 3 or 4 Zelda games right now, if it continues at the pace it is for me. But I can't get past the fact that it looks like dog shit. And I would
Oh, it's
rather,
really bad when you go through caves and shit, right? Like I walked into some caves. I'm like, so it's just gonna be brown walls here, you know, like little mists and brown walls. I'm like,
yeah.
no moss growing on stuff, no little wet floor,
No, no,
no.
no. There actually is like moss and stuff. Like I've seen that kind of stuff in caves, but it's
It's
like in the Zora
essentially an
era.
up-res
But
Ocarina of Time at this point, like in some
yeah,
ways, when you know, like
well, for me, it's like when I get into like a field full of like blowing wheat grass, and then it looks like I'm like, the way it looks is like I'm looking at like an Atari Lynx system. Like I don't know I don't know the language of the gamer to say what the graphical problem is, but I'm not seeing I'm personally not seeing the wheat flowing. I'm seeing the effect of the image, which is these like little tiny pixels going looks like you're on acid, instead of in that cutscene, or in that scene from Gladiator where he's like, I'm in a field of wheat. It's so
well,
tranquil.
it dynamically lowers resolution based on complexity.
Yeah.
So you could be lowering resolution in giant fields to keep frame rate, you know?
Hmm.
Or it could be using the AI upsample to compensate, and that can look weird depending on To some people, it looks weird.
Yeah.
Some people don't notice it. Some people do.
Yeah, I have these like moments where visually I look at something, I'm able to take it in for what it's doing, and then I have these other moments where I look at it and I'm like, what exactly does this image actually just look like? And then that's where it pulls me out, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, if you like stare at an image long enough, you just like start to see it for like what the image is, you know? Instead of the effect. Ben says, yeah, the last generation junk is what's holding back Madden for me. Laugh out loud. I love Madden, but it holds them back so much. So.
Madden sucks. NFL 2K5 still the greatest football game ever made.
All right. I like 4-player volleyball on the Nintendo. Maria's all
don't
switches.
Lie. You know you're a dead or alive volleyball fan.
Maria's all Switch isn't even the conversation, Rob. It's probably not. Bestman says, I get it. Times are tough, but there are options. I'm not a fan of the Series S, but it's affordable. And if you just want to play the new Star Wars game, just get that. Yeah, and let's also be real. Your Xboxes that you have from last gen's probably going to die any day now. Anyways, those things don't fucking last. I think I had like.
If you don't have a new iPhone, you can't use all the new features too, right? Like if you don't have a new, I mean, like this is ridiculous. Like, it's a gaming console. If you can't afford to buy it, don't buy it. I get it, but if you do afford to buy it, give me games made for the system and stop making excuses. Otherwise, don't put out a new system. If you're a game console maker who's like, hey man, people can't buy new consoles for now, so then just don't put out new hardware. I don't want new hardware to run older hardware software slightly better. Like that's not what I buy new hardware for. I buy new hardware to get new games made for the hardware. Otherwise, don't fucking make it.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
NBC says, Rob, they were going to do that with the new Marvel game, Midnight Suns, but the game barely sold any copies and they canceled the previous gen release.
Yeah, well, first off, they called a game called Midnight Suns. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
sounds like a fucking Duran Duran song, doesn't it?
Yeah. It had been called X-Men Academy or fucking X-Men, Battle for the blah, blah, blah. It's called Midnight Suns. No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Damn, Maria's all, listen, I spend like $6,000 a year to upgrade my PC. For extreme gamers like me, the reason we do that is it is the fucking effing looks of the games. Yeah.
But the people who also spend $6,000 a year on a PC card then complain. Look, it can do the same thing as a PS5. I'm like, yeah, but the PS5 is $500.
Yeah.
like you didn't win, in my opinion. If that's your hobby, have it out, Haas. I mean, that's awesome. You know, like that's your hobby. But PC master racers for years have been like, my PC can do it too. But what did you spend to make it do it?
My plan is to move next door to Maria, become her best friend, and then come over and go, oh, the phone's for you, and then get on and play the game for like a few minutes on a $6,000 machine. I'd be like, that was good.
But Jason, you could just turn on Twitch and watch them play the game in 4K if that's the case.
It's not the same as my elaborate plan to like take Maria's.
No, but it is
PC.
efficient. You can do it tonight.
Because if she's the PC master race, then that would make me the PC master race thief.
Little bitch.
That's fucking cool.
No,
I'm not a little bitch. I'm a thief. I'm a thief. I'm an outlaw.
You're an outlaw. You're an outlaw. We're all outlaws.
Real Ben Maynard says, since you guys are talking about Nintendo Switch, do you think it would be worth it to get one? Or do you think a new one will be coming out soon? Laugh out loud, since we are on the gaming talk now. So, like, I mean, just like full disclosure, we just bought. We've had like the Switch Lights, which if your eyes are good,
your family, not me. I have a day one Switch.
Yeah. No, well, I had a day one Switch too, but I sold that shit because nothing came out for it. It's like, why do I have this? You know what I mean? I'm like, I should
another one, which is not an efficient way to do business.
No, it's not. But here's what we actually did was we had the original Switch, and then games weren't coming out, and then the kids wanted to play the Switch and shit like that, and I was just like, I don't want the kids tying up the fucking TV and stuff. So we traded in the Switch, and then we put it towards Switch Lights, which we still use those every day. So like the Switch Lite and the kids, great. I have one too. My ex is actually really nice and gave me that yellow one. So it's pretty cool. So I use that. But the problem for me is like, I have to wear reading glasses, but I don't have bad eyes, but I can't see shit on it now. I just hit that age where I'm almost like, this isn't comfortable to play. And so there's that element of it. But anyways, then with Zelda coming out and stuff like that, and like Mario Kart and some of the like Mario Party games, we're kind of like, I was having to buy like multiple Mario Party cartridges, and I'm just like, I should just fucking, we should just get like a Switch. So we got a Switch, and then so we could play Zelda on the TV, we could play Mario Party like all together and stuff. And so that's where I went on it, and for me, it's worth it to play Zelda on the TV because I can't play Zelda on the Switch Lite. Breath of the Wild, I tried to replay it on the Switch Lite, and it just was not happening for me. But if you're cool with that, Ben, if like that doesn't fucking bother you or fuck with you, and like your eyes are cool and like that's comfortable to you, I would just get a Switch Lite at this point. And the Switch Lite,
I would
it's a good
tell
value.
you to hold off. I would tell you to hold off, and it's not coming out anytime soon. I just personally feel like if you've waited this long, you may as well get something that's going to run these games at better than 25 frames per second, which it does dip down. A lot of games dip down into lower frame rates, and it's like the next system, whatever they make, will be backwards compatible. It will run whatever's running now at a better frame rate. So just be patient.
Yeah, I did Switch emulation on the Steam Deck as well, and that's something that you can do if you wanted to get something that like maybe is broader for like other interests and stuff like that. If you're down to buy the game and then just play it that way, still do it that way, whatever. Don't do anything illegal.
Don't run the same. They don't run optimized like the games.
That's where I'm going with this. Is like Breath of the Wild on the Steam Deck. I don't think it's worth it. For instance, it just wasn't a very good experience. And I did like a lot of tuning to make like Mario Odyssey play well on it. Took me, but point being is I enjoy kind of doing that stuff, like fucking with stuff and making it run better. I enjoyed that better than the experience of playing it on there though, because I'm weird like that. But I don't recommend it, is my point.
Yeah, I just want to play the game. I'm not
I
spent the day or so fine-tuning my N64 RetroArch emulation because I was on a mission to get N64 games that didn't have fucking smudge thrown over the whole. It bothered me back in the day. It bothers me now, But now I can play the games the way I always wanted to play them. So, although the audio support for Top Gear Rally still sucks ass, I have to turn the music off. But whatever.
You are definitely I'm gonna say our video game Kramer though. You have a lot of really particular things, very very Kramer style.
you know that one where he dug into garbage to get the Merv Griffin show stuff and to set it up in his house? Younger me would have done that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If it was like like right now, if the Double Dare set was in a bin, I would pull it out and set up my garage like the Double Dare.
No, there's. Yeah, I've seen like and heard about things like if people like in Australia, like when they were filming their prequels and stuff, who have like Count Dooku's like ship and stuff, like the frame of like the thing that Christopher Lee walks down, like in their like entertainment system in their front rooms and shit. I'm like, that's fucking cool. Like I would totally Kramer the shit out of that. Yeah. But yeah, so anyways though, it's I mean I'm not gonna to go back to what our buddy here Maul Sook was mentioning, I'm not gonna be like a Debbie Downer about this new game and be like, oh, it's canceled because of like what's happened before. We've all been hurt before, but we got to move forward and try to love again and hope that it's gonna work. You know what I mean?
But more than being canceled, if it's coming out next year, just don't expect it to be the greatest open world game you ever dreamt of. Be realistic. Yeah. It's gonna be like a game because there's just no way they can. 2 years of development to make a big open world game, like it's gonna be filled with filler. Then there's quest filler, blah 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 blah. Like it's just a reality. These things take 4 to 5 years, maybe 6 if you're really polishing. But if they crank it out in 2, well, you know what I mean? Like,
The Malsuk says we bought our son the original Switch. Years later, we bought our daughter in the OLED one. Big difference in the displays. Yeah, it is a lot better. I don't know and I know on the OLED one you're able to do like 4K Netflix videos or whatever that the other system can't do. But I don't know if like the game like on a TV if it's like any better or if there's like any
the resolution
smoother.
It still runs the same.
It's the same. Yeah,
same innards. So yeah, the screen's nice, but again, for me, my problem isn't like I've never looked at my screen and been like, this isn't contrast yet. My problem is the frame rates and what the graphics can do, what it can push out, and we're just dealing with essentially mobile versions of 2011 technology.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I'm unimpressed with at this point. Yeah.
Bestman says Jeff Grubb said there's a new Switch, an updated one, or a true successor coming up. Rumor is that it's released in 2024. Hope that helps Ben weigh up his options. And for what it's worth, I could be wrong, but I think Nintendo came and said that there wouldn't be one in 2024, didn't they? I could be wrong about that, but I remember that when that happened, and I was like, so is Nintendo lying? Or is it just maybe like an early 2025 release and Grubb's thinking it's late 2024?
Well,
I don't
they'll
know.
always lie if it's going to come out after a Christmas season. So if they don't have anything up for 2023 Christmas season, they're going to lie, because the minute they announce a new handheld, their system sales are dead.
Just dead. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And what makes me think that's not true is that Zelda just came out. Like, if it was within a year, I could see them easily delaying the game to be a crossover system launch. I think we're still 2 years away. You know? I might be wrong, but I'm pointing out to what Nintendo has done consistently since the Wii. Since the Wii, they've had a crossover game title, Twilight Princess, and then they had for the Wii and the Wii U, they had Breath of the Wild. Or no, was it Breath of the Wild was the Wii U to Switch. On the Wii U, there was no crossover. It was like Smash. No, there was nothing. That was the one that didn't have a crossover title.
Wait, was Wii U Skyward Sword?
Skyward? No, it came out later.
That was later.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So they had Wind Waker HD at launch. They didn't have a crossover title, and they would see that as a failure. So they made certain. They went out of their way to say they're going to have a crossover title with the Switch.
Yeah.
So on the Wii U, it got Breath of the Wild, and Switch had Breath of the Wild. So like, they got to have that again. So that means whatever's in the pipeline now, if it's the new Mario game, if it's a new, which I imagine it's Mario, the next Mario has to be the crossover. Some people think it's Donkey Kong. I don't think they're putting Donkey Kong in as the reason to get a new system. That would be colossal mistake.
That's never happened, has it?
No, and it won't. Well, no, I mean, other than maybe ColecoVision, right? Like, get a ColecoVision to get Donkey Kong
for the original Donkey Kong, yeah, but not since the Nintendo Entertainment System,
right. Yeah, no, they'll put it on Mario. So, I still think we're 2 years away.
Yeah. So the new Zelda, much better than Breath of the Wild. And I'm super happy with it.
It makes it looks like Breath of the Wild is like, it shows like this was the test and then we built off everything and built this,
Yeah.
But, for me, I never say it's a bad game, dude. I just say for me, like, I'm not getting anything out of it right now that like I wasn't already getting out of the first game. And I've already been like I was blown away by Breath of the Wild being on a handheld, 6 years ago. Put it into context. I'm 40. I turned 45 this year, so put it into context. Jason, imagine if 6 years. Imagine if like Mario World was the launch title on Nintendo 64. You know what I mean? Like you'd be like, well, why am I getting the 64 versus the Super Nintendo? I already have a Super Nintendo.
Well, Rob, I'm here to bring you the good news. As a futurist, I believe that the singularity will give you immortality and that you will be able to play every Nintendo up until it is at the current gen when you are 175 years old. That's when it will be 4K.
There's no money in it. There's no money in it for them to give me forever, right? I have to be working to keep making the money, so I don't believe that.
That's true. Okay. So Bespin says it was Nintendo's recent fiscal year reports that said there'd be no Switch or console releasing by April of 2024.
Right.
Grubb is saying the new version of a Switch or a Switch successor would be later, so probably like
Christmas.
For the Christmas, October to the Christmas, like fall.
Well, no, they'll announce September 30th, and then they'll move it up 3 days, like they did the last time in 1996. It was amazing, but threw my whole day off. I got real worried I wasn't going to get my Nintendo 64. On September 27th, 1990s. But I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope that they put this current Zelda out on there with updated graphics. That'd be great if it did that. That would be nice if that was
It's not the way
possible.
they. I mean, their version of
I
updated
know.
graphics is like Bloom, and they already got plenty of Bloom in the game. So I'm
Yeah.
with you, but it's more likely, these things will just run them, and then they'll have some because they're already doing a form with this game. They're already doing a version of upres, like the NVIDIA DLSS, like 1.0
Hmm.
upres, whatever. It's most likely it'll have a version of that upres it to 4K and then increases frame rate to 60 frames per second. But in terms of adding like foliage and butterflies flying around and shit like that, and all the like the level of detail you'd kind of want, I don't see
Hmm.
that happening. If
Yeah.
I'm wrong, I will literally
No, I
eat.
mean,
I will eat Jack in a Box on this.
oh no.
I don't want to eat Jack in a Box.
Yeah, I will
So
eat Jack on the Box too in about an hour.
yeah, yeah,
No, I'm
yeah.
kidding.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I am trying to stick to my diet, so I won't do Jack in the Box. Peter Griffin says I bought the Switch to do speed runs. Currently doing the first 6 Mario's in an hour. I'm still at 1 hour 22 minutes. Damn, that's pretty good though.
Speedrunners are nuts, dude. Like, I get you.
Yeah,
If you don't understand it when you watch it, you realize they're really like the best Q&A, right? Because they just figure out how to like use glitches in games to like
yeah.
bypass shit that you're just like, it's crazy to watch.
That's
When you watch someone who really knows what
that's
they're doing. Yeah.
yeah. That's where I fall into like a weird place with like the speed run thing. I like to watch people do them, and I appreciate it. But like when they like do like glitches to do the speed run, that's when I'm like, nah, it's cheating, man. You know what I mean? Like no, you can't
Yeah.
do that. So um Ben says, gosh, my Nintendo Switch turned into a making Nintendo Switch stream. Yeah, it did. Hey, I Nintendo hasn't made me happy in a long time, but Nintendo was one of the big parts of my childhood, and I would love to see Nintendo come back to the relevance that it should be at,
They made
that it could
my
be at.
favorite Star Wars games are on Nintendo systems. So,
Hmm.
you know. And it's not nostalgia. I just like the ships. They got ship combat. They put it first. That's what I'm there for.
Yeah, I mean,
Rob's wrong. He'll play
uh,
Fortnite with Jason and Besman. Look,
yes,
I
yeah,
can't be wrong because I don't see a world in which Nintendo right now sells everybody the Zelda game and then 12 months from now or 18 months from now says, "Oh no, we made a better version you guys don't get on this other system." That's going to anger. They want to carry over this audience to their new system as much as possible. They want this. They've already said that. That's why they're afraid. They really just have to make a Switch that's backward compatible and just runs better and runs all this other stuff. Not easy to do, by the way. I'm just saying,
mm,
like, it's the last time they need to innovate is with this system because
yeah,
if they tell you they made a whole new system that has a better version of this game, it's just going to piss people off. Like,
right.
look at you people right now. They're getting mad about having to buy an exclusive Star Wars game. You think the Nintendo people are going to be happy when
No,
they hear the
the Rob. It's
$70
not even.
Zelda game they bought isn't as good as the other Zelda
It's not
$70
even
Zelda game?
exclusive. It's not even an exclusive Star Wars game. It's on
Right. It's not
every
even
console.
exclusive.
It's just
Right.
not on the old ass one. You know, it's like
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, but I want the really old ass hardware. Why isn't it releasing on my Xbox 360? Like,
yeah, man. Best friend just has these dreams, and it like you just hold them in the
do you
palm of
think
your
playing
hand.
games with me? First off, I'm not good at games,
We don't
so
want
like
you.
that's why
We don't need you to be.
like that's why I like turn-based combat. I can take my
You
time,
know.
figure it out.
You, see, you get shot in the game, and then you die, and then you just keep talking about whatever you were talking about, and then one of us comes and picks you up, and then revives you, or doesn't, and we just keep talking about
How is
what we
that
were talking
different than
about.
what we do here?
Um, well, we don't have all of these people listening, and we're in a video game, but it's cool.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. It's not, you don't have to have performance anxiety. Peter Griffin says, P.S. I still can't land the jet in Top Gun. Okay, so what you have to do, Peter, is you just have to go into the instruction manual for Top Gun, and it tells you
Yes.
exactly what the altitude and what the speed is, and then you just set it to that, and you could, like, I would do that and walk away and
Well,
land. People be
the
like,
the
people
the
thought
the, the,
people thought I was a
the
fucking
pro-
wizard, like the wizard, Fred
The
Savage's
problem,
brother.
though, Jason, the reason why they don't know this is most people rented or borrowed the game
Yeah,
because when they were doing rentals, Nintendo was able to go after rental companies by sharing the manuals. They said
yeah,
that was copyrighted material, so they had to basically put games in there with like a one slip of paper, right? That
Yeah.
was by a third party person to put no slip of paper, so people didn't have the manual, you
Mhm.
know. But yeah, in the
Well,
manual for
I
Top
bought
Gun,
Top
it
Gun
literally tells
because I
you
got a
exactly how to.
need for speed.
I posted a picture of that manual pick, right, to
Hmm?
someone who was complaining about that like 2 weeks ago, and he's like, well, that just takes the fun out of it. I'm like, here you were complaining about never being able to land it, and I just showed you how the manual told you how to do it, and then you're like, well, that wouldn't have been fun. Like, for 30 years you've complained, and when you realize how easy it is, you just, well, that's not
I'm
fun. Like,
I'm pretty sure when Maverick and Goose went to Top Gun and they're like, "Hey, how do we land our plane?" They weren't like, "Well, if we told you that, you wouldn't be having fun." I mean, you learn how to land the plane, and then you just land the plane, and like that's what you would do. You would never be freeballing it every single time. You'd be putting the nose here, and you'd be going 220 miles an hour, whatever the fuck it is. So yeah, but that was the old Nintendo. He's asking right now. He's all, when does the Fortnite discussion begin? It's the only game I play and have some thoughts on. Tiny ass Optimus Prime. That's pretty funny you say that, because that was kind of like my take too. Like me and Bespin, we were talking like a long time ago. We're like, how are they going to do this? Like how would they do Optimus Prime? How would they do Transformers? And they're like, would they just make him tiny? And I was like, I guess so. And then before we knew that Optimus was coming, I was laughing because if you actually look at the Star Wars characters, Padme is as big as the clone trooper. It's like, nothing is to scale in the game, so you just kind of go, okay, you know. But I am
yeah,
excited
my game
about
is Transformers
Optimus.
Devastation. You ever play that game?
Is it? Can I play it with Best and
Well,
Bulletin on the internet?
hell no, dude. It's single player, cell shaded, G1 Transformers. It doesn't have the fucking 80s soundtrack, but I just put that in while I'm playing it, and I have the greatest time.
Rob, what if your refusal to play games online with your buddies Bespin and Jason is a self-fulfilling prophecy that allows you to keep buying into the myth that it would be a bad time? What if? Just saying, what if?
Yeah, I know people. I've been around.
I know in reality you just have to work. That's what really probably the biggest part is that like I can't do this. I got to do this. But Dell says, yeah, but they act the same. Okay. So anyways, yeah, Groot. There's a couple of other ones that, like in Fortnite, where you're like RoboCop is another one, and then like Hulk looks bigger, but I don't think he actually is, or is he actually bigger? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it's supposed to be like I think like Fortnite has an issue though where they can't make the skins have a competitive advantage in certain markets, or like they'll get sued. Like they'll be treated like it was a loot box gambling scheme and taken to court and stuff. So I think like they have to kind of adhere to some basic kind of tenets. But I still think when you play as Spider Gwen and Miles Morales as Spider-Man, I think you're harder to kill in both of those suits. I think there's something about him. I don't know what it is, but Spider Gwens always seem to be good in that game, and even when they're not, they just seem to be like they're just harder to kill. Maybe it's just us, but anyways, all right. Well, I think we did it. We've done the show
Outlaws.
today.
Star Wars
Sunday,
Outlaws.
Star
The
Wars
open world
Outlaws.
game you were always asking for. Where you got to be a Jedi and you got a lightsaber and you get to drink. Oh, no, none of that. You get to be
No.
another scoundrel, Jason. We talked about this. This is the Lucasfilm 101. They go, what, can't it just be like a bounty hunter? Can't it just be like a rogue or a scoundrel? Why has it got to be a Jedi? Because no one wants to be a fucking Jedi, right? Nobody.
I want to be a
That's
Jedi.
not what they do it for.
No, I mean, but with Jedi Survivor having just come out, I think this is a good call because I got to play as Cal Kestis the last like couple of weeks, like for many hours, had a good time, and so now I get to be a little rogue shooter.
K-Vess.
That's cool. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but it'll be good or it won't be. But I'll try it. I'll play it. And as Azatru says, and Azatru, I'm looking forward to when you're free sometime this week. You jumping on and setting all of setting the shit straight for me.
You
Appreciate
think you'd be front row tomorrow at the Ubisoft event, like with like those like Andy Dick when he's got those like those ravers.
I don't know where you're going with this,
stuff,
but
right?
whatever Andy Dick does,
like,
don't do that.
Oh my God, Ubisoft! Yeah.
Best bench says show's over. Where we dropping, boys? You ready?
Okay.
You ready? But yeah, I know that they put out every IP in that game, but they never did Avatar. What the fuck? I mean, how did that happen? You know. But anyways, yeah. So tomorrow we'll do another show, probably on the same game, talking about the gameplay stuff that's going to be shown tomorrow and the stuff that's.
Do you think it'll be modified gameplay, like visually modified? You know what I mean? Like a bit altered, trickery, bullshit is what they used to call them in the magazines.
Let's hope not, but you know, I doubt it.
Remember that time when because Ubisoft, remember that game Watch Dogs when they did that whole video and it looked like this amazing cyberpunk game, and then it came out, it looked like a bad 360 clone. Like, yeah. I mean, this graphical disparity between the two is the craziest I've ever seen, Jason. Like, I was like, people should sue over this. Like seriously. Can't tell with Ubisoft, man. You just can't tell.
Well, the whole thing is like, it's like I don't know much about the event, so I'd be speculating, but I'm gonna assume if people are playing it and like, you know, influencers and stuff are playing it or something and sharing their impressions, it's likely going to be like a model of the game that they're working on. I would hope. And if it's not, well, then who cares? Because it might as well just be another pre-rendered trailer, right? If it goes that way. But we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll let you guys know what's up with it and see what's going on. But thanks for jumping on a Sunday, Rob. And we'll be back tomorrow on Monday just to talk about that and whatever the other Star Wars news is. I think Bespin Bulletin's working on a little article roundup of rumors du jour, and I think they're probably all bunk, in my opinion. But if he does that article, we'll definitely delve into that one tomorrow too, and be like, this don't make no sense. All right, but you know, Mama said don't let that fire go out, and I ain't gonna let that fire go out. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, Rob.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.